This is a time to uprise. Welcome to today's show. Satanism, human sacrifice continuing to be pushed on the youth. Of course, anyone who sees these types of videos laughs. They call it satanic panic. They've all been trained and brainwashed into saying those things, and I'll show you about this game. You'll be probably surprised, but then again, not surprised, right? If that makes any sense, because we see this stuff day in and day out. Before I get to that, I want to remind everybody and thank everybody who is here on the new channel. I have a backup channel. I know it's annoying to even ask after having everyone have to come over to this one. Barely anyone's here, but I'm going to continue to put out content. I want to have the other one built out so I don't have to continue to go through it. So I'm going to try to build out as many as I can so when stuff happens, I can obviously upload and continue to talk about truth. I don't have to constantly beat the drum. But there is another channel. It is listed below. Don't mind the content. Just please click the link. Take a minute now and subscribe if you can. So onto this game called Deceit 2. I'm going to play you a clip they just released of their trailer, but before I do that, I guess we should, talk about it for a second, because here's an article promoting the game. Sacrifice your friends to demons in social survival horror Deceit, right? A two-player, multiplayer, survival horror game with an emphasis on social interaction, and it's coming to PS5. Infected players seek to tear down the veil of reality by activating blood altars, and if successful, will transport all players to the in-between, a nightmarish parallel dimension where the infected will gain powerful new abilities. And I'll show you the clip right now, and yeah, haven't we seen this before?
Wake up!
What happened?
You've been chosen. This time, I have a task for you. Both of you. Make them fear us. A realm of terror draws close. The in-between of our world and the horrors of the void. Give me your blood, and I will show you. The innocent will not understand, but our benefactors demand tribute. Tributes paid with paranoia.
Is lying.
Tributes of torment. Tributes of suffering. The ritual of deceit has begun. Trust no one.
Beck's infected.
So again, the reason I cover this stuff is, one, so that parents can be aware of this. I get it, there's like a trillion video games now, just like there's a trillion, streaming service, trillion shows. When a lot of us were younger, it was like, oh, there's the shows on Thursday night or Friday night, like TGIF or whatever it was back in the day. And there was video games, but it was like, all right, I mean, there was a good amount of Nintendo games, but it really was like Mario and, just a few things like that. Now there's a ton. So parents kind of just are like, whatever, there's tons of games. Parents don't really monitor this stuff anymore because of the satanic panic mindset that they've given society. And if you haven't seen the video that I recently uploaded about the parallels too with Stranger Things, the most watched show, conveniently, on any streaming service, pushing the satanic panic, pushing sympathy for satanic characters. And that video is available on this channel. If you haven't seen it, go look for it. Look at the parallel here. They will transport all players to the in-between. Oh, you mean like the upside down? The in-between? The other side of the veil. Look at these trigger terms that all Christians should be able to see. Now, one of the problems with this is somebody sent me something about this, and they showed me, of course, Christians who support this stuff. There's Christians, there's Christian gamers, I guess, who are popular. I don't even remember what the name of the person was. Who glorify this because they're like, it's just a game, get a life, LOL. This dumb mindset where they laugh everything off. And then they think like, being Christian, like, oh, okay, like you could do whatever you want, do without will. It's almost how they feel. And I get it, we're all sinners, but starting to push, for Christians to push games like this, where they're literally like the worst possible thing on earth, right? Which would be for a Christian, promoting the devil and the devil's deeds and his acts and doing them, but promoting them, doing them would be worse, obviously, but promoting that. So I saw Christian gamers like, oh, this is so great. And they do like videos on some of the games I've exposed, like Goat Simulator, where literally you're committing sacrifice of goats like Satanists do. Now, the problem with this is obvious, isn't it? They're grooming children this way, and not enough people talk about it. They're just like, oh, they're grooming children sexually and all stuff. Yes, that's a huge problem, and they are doing that. But the Satanism that is leaking through in all forms of media is a massive problem that needs to be stopped. And unfortunately, they just use satanic panic and crazy Christians, and Christians are buzzkills and they're no fun. And then you obviously see Christians who promote this stuff. So it makes it very difficult for Christians to put their foot down and say this type of garbage shouldn't even be made. But of course, in the name of art, it's okay for them to put games out like this where they're talking about sacrificing clueless, innocent people for the greater good. Does it sound familiar? Yeah, it's a plot that's going on in today's world. Actually, it's been running since 2020. If you're not familiar with what's going on, they are sacrificing some of the clueless and unfortunately some good people who are scared into doing certain things. But you get my point. A lot of people are being sacrificed. They make light of these things. They joke about these things. And how do they get people desensitized to it, to not think it's a big deal? They constantly show it to you in video games and movies. Over and over and over. Nothing original, folks. If this was art, somebody would say, like I've said it before, like if I literally made a movie, okay? If I literally made a movie that had like a very like a plot where you were like, that's a copycat, right? Say I made a movie just like Forrest Gump. I called him Boris Dump, right? And he says, life is like a box of vanilla candy. And the whole movie was that. What would everyone say? They'd be like, that's a copycat. You're copying. But when it comes to this stuff, The Exorcist, Paranormal Activity, all these movies with demonic possession, all these movies I've covered, Rosemary's Baby, showing the Antichrist, Satanism, right? And people are just like, oh, that's because people are like interested in that. It's like a trendy topic. That's because the actual world revolves around God and the devil. So there's an interest in it because people's souls are being pulled towards this stuff. And God's trying to reveal to them what's really going on. But what ends up happening instead is people are like, I'm a Christian, but I love Rosemary's Baby, or I love The Exorcist. And I'm not saying if you like horror movies or anything like that, it makes you a Satanist. But what it does is it desensitizes people to the existence of the occult. Because the more they show it, then people are just like, oh, you're telling me that there's Satanists out there, like it's Rosemary's Baby, like it's Paranormal Activity, there's demonic possession. You're telling me that. Well, they're telling you that. They're showing it to you over and over again to show you the actual real world that exists, the spiritual realm that we're all fighting in. Not this made-up, make-believe world where men can apparently have babies now. No, that's the real world. And they're showing you it over and over again because they're conditioning you to do it. That's how it works. Gateways. I just talked about it in the previous video, right? Dungeons and Dragons, Magic Card the Gathering, Ouija boards. These are all gateways. Certain types of music are gateways into the occult. All those rock bands from the 70s, right? We've heard dozens of them, even rock bands in the 80s and the 90s and today. Right now they use more hip-hop bands and they convince, they trick people with like Rihanna's and Beyonce. I mean, all of this stuff is a gateway because they use spirituality. They use things to deceive people. And then when they show you stuff like this, everybody laughs. They're like, oh, that guy, how many times I've seen, oh, that guy, Uprising. Oh my goodness. He thinks all this stuff is actually going on because they can't grasp it. And you know why they can't grasp it? Because they've been put under a spell through being desensitized. Okay, that's what it does to you when you see it over and over. It's not sensational anymore. You're not going, whoa, wait a minute. And eventually, it's going to get to a point where they're committing a human sacrifice right in front of you, a real one, and you're going to be like, cool. And you're not even going to be able to comprehend what's going on because you've been so desensitized to other humans, right? The separation we see now between human beings and how they're closer to technology than other people, how cold people have grown. Nobody cares about each other. We see this massive push for women's empowerment revolving around a right to choose. And all these people are like, they're not living things. Babies aren't living things. Oh, I wonder what that's about. Well, it's about more than just the actual sacrifice being committed. It's about making people not care for babies, not even look at them like they're human. Because guess what? That's what Satanists do. They don't look at babies like they're human. They sacrifice them, living babies, not just aborted ones, little children who are bred into the occult. How are they bred in? Covens, satanic covens. There are women who get impregnated, who give birth. These children never have birth records because doctors are involved. Oh, I mean, I've covered this so many times, but seriously, it sounds crazy. Like, oh, so-and-so's involved, so-and-so's involved. There are doctors in the occult. They make sure they do the delivery for them. They never have to go through the process that other people in this world do, where you have a baby in a hospital. Well, guess what? You got to go through the process, right? To show the proof of the existence of the baby. They don't have to do that. They don't do that. And we don't even know the number of children that have been sacrificed. Because these babies are John Does and Jane Does, unfortunately, and it breaks everyone's heart, including mine. But if we don't wake people up to this stuff, and if people don't get tougher skin and just go, I can't hear that, I can't think about that, that's what's really going on. And this isn't something where it's like, oh, it's some white trash across the street, that guy looks suspicious, or so-and-so is wearing black clothing and black lipstick. It is your people in positions of power, heads of corporation, all of the people in Washington, all of your politicians, all of your talking heads on media, all of these musicians who are promoted to huge success and fame, who influence people, like Taylor Swift, et cetera, who have songs and songs and songs talking about coming out of the woods because they're witches. I mean, it's right in front of us, and not to mention, of course, the actors, who all these people, same mindset, same ideologies, pushing the same things. Pretty incredible, right? And it's games like this that become gateways for behavior like that and to desensitize people to the existence of the occult. People are going to wake up, they're going to continue to be like, oh, that stuff's not real, that's not real, and it doesn't make me a bad person for playing it. Suddenly they're just going to show up in your town, they're going to be like, oh, I guess it's real, but whatever, they seem like nice people. Because they're weakening men, they're empowering women to a point where they're not thinking clearly about how they should be raising their children. They're telling them raising your kids isn't important. Having a job in a cubicle for 40 hours a week, that's important, your status in society. So moms aren't raising their kids. Their dads are, working too. And then they look and they go, oh my goodness, our kid's been playing all this. What? Johnny's wearing what? What clothing? Oh, that's just he's expressing himself. Oh wait, where's Johnny tonight? Oh, he's out with his friends. Oh, okay. Where's Johnny tonight? Oh, he's upstairs with his friends. Let's go check on him. Oh, Johnny's in his room. He's playing Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, okay, whatever. That's like Stranger Things. That's fine. A year later, what's Johnny doing? Oh, his friends are over. Oh, same. Okay, what are they doing? Oh, well, they're actually practicing some of the real spells from the game. Oh, okay. Oh, a year later. Oh, what's that on the floor? Oh, it's a dead baby on the floor. They're practicing, doing some spell casting. Get out, Mom. The parents are like, oh, what's the big deal? It's just a baby, right? Desensitizing people is how we are, where we are, not just the weakening of people. It's all over the place. And that might have been an epic, not an epic rant, but a deeply passionate rant about this game, which is just some random game. All I've seen is this teaser trailer for it that I showed you. But we have got to stay vigilant. I see too many Christians who don't want to hear this type of stuff. And obviously like those types of Christians don't believe that I'm even Christian. They're like, he's not Christian. He yells and stuff. And it's like, I'm sorry, would you like me to sit here and talk real monotone and tell you to love and accept everything? And should I bring cupcakes into church on Sunday and tell you exactly my recipe and how I iced it? All pointless worldly things? No. I'd like to make sure that you and your kids don't end up going down the wrong path and then suddenly not even realizing you're not worshiping God anymore. They're worshiping the Antichrist. Because you've been deceived into accepting and tolerating everything, and crap like this, you've been desensitized to it. Suddenly it's happening in your town and you're not standing up and fighting against it. You're just going, oh, human sacrifice down at town square today? Oh, let them do their thing. They're not bothering anyone. Huh? Seriously, that's what we're headed towards. I thank everyone for being here. Please, once again, if you haven't subscribed to my backup channel, please do so now. Really got to build that one out so we can avoid these huge, what do you call it? Huge just like distractions and wastes of my time like doing this. I'm trying to do it all at once. So I'm like, working my tail off with videos, but also like having to waste like hours putting that kind of crap content together. But that's what I have to do to stay here. Otherwise, I would just go to the website and say, hey, you want the content, go to the website. But I'm trying to stay here on YouTube for everybody out there. It's becoming more and more difficult, obviously. I'm doing my best to get around it. I hope you guys will do the same and subscribe to help me out. Appreciate it. God bless all of you again. Thanks for being here. God bless you again. And God bless you again. And your family.